Welcome to PPR podcast number 77, brought to you by Renovation Realty. My name is Paul. Your name is?
Bert.
Bert, who's in the hot seat today?
Assistant head coach, offense coordinator, Jason Carter, Lincoln Hive.
Who happens to be one of four schools still playing right now?
4, yeah.
Hey, Jason, let's. By the way, Jason, thanks for doing this.
Oh, no problem. Glad to be on.
Hey, what does it say about the San Diego section that we got 4 teams still vying for state rings? How do we, in this great state of California, where I don't need to tell you how good the football here is in the Golden State, where does San Diego rank in that? Are we upper echelon? Are we still playing a second tier sport? How does it rank?
I think you got to give San Diego a lot of credit. It's 4 teams still playing. And San Diego usually does good when they go up and play against the Southern section or whoever else they play against. So you got to give San Diego some credit. I mean, look at what the teams did last year as well. So, I mean, if you don't want to give them no credit, then
we never get no credit.
It seems like
that.
Well, the Southern section and the folks in some of the schools, North School, they look down at us, they kind of thumb their nose at us like, stepsisters.
Well, that's good. Let them keep on doing it. They'll keep on getting beat too.
Jason, I got a question for you. I have a couple questions for you, actually. So I'm looking today, and listen to this list. This is the top 4 teams in the state, regardless of division. Bosco, Mater Dei, Santa Ana, Mission Viejo, and then Lincoln. I was at Hoover in 2012, and you guys were just terrible. I mean, and I think you got there in
2012.
I know, I'm getting there. I think you got there in like 2018. And just say the turnaround that I'm naming these names, and you guys are in the top 5 and in there with these teams, like historic national teams. We beat the brakes off you at Hoover in 2012. I think you got there in like 2017 or 18. I don't think you guys haven't been in a championship since that year. How do you do that at a public school, a little public school?
Well, I got there in 2018, and the first thing you do is you keep the talent home. You got to keep the talent home because there's other good schools out there, other good private schools that offer a lot. So then you have to kind of hit the ground running and making sure kids know that they can get the same thing as far as the education and the football aspect and going to college. So if you can do that and you can equal or even the playing ground and you can win games and make it fun and let the kids be themselves, you have a good chance to do that. So, and then also like one thing that I wanted to come in with was a ton of discipline, because when I was a head coach at La Jolla, you watch Lincoln from afar and you see all the talent. And then all the noise you heard about Lincoln about, they could never win. They have so much talent, but they're not disciplined. It's, everybody knows what's said about Lincoln prior to myself getting there. And they still say it now too, but the difference is we, take a lot of pride in, my grandfather's last name. And so like whatever I try to touch, I always try to make it 10 times better. And then trying to get the kids to buy into what you're selling. And so, I don't do it by myself. Bashir Jones has been implement. He's been my little brother. He was with me at La Jolla. And then David Dunn has kind of done a good job of kind of, saying, do what you do. And because, I've been a head coach. He's a head coach. And you don't really find two head coaches on staff. And so when someone can let you come in and just be yourself and let you do what you do and make it your own and not have an ego, man, you can win a lot of games. And so I guess that's what you're seeing right now.
I want to expand on that because it does take a special breed, because usually it's been my experience, certainly in athletics and more so in TV, everyone's concerned about who gets the credit. And great things can be accomplished, Jason, if you don't care about who gets the credit. And I think that speaks to Coach Dunn, right? I mean, he's not threatened by what you and other members of the staff bring to the table. It's welcome. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Well, I think like when you're alpha, like Coach Dunn is, and like myself, I mean, like alphas, I don't fear no man. I don't fear anyone. I welcome every challenge. I'm able to speak my mind when we do have it. It's okay to agree to disagree. And there's been some times where we do agree to disagree. But for the most part, like we usually think a lot, we usually think the same about a lot of different stuff. I mean, we love winning. We love trying to give our boys the opportunity to be successful, putting our boys in college. And the biggest thing is this is if Lincoln is having success, that means everybody's winning. And so you have to understand that it's never about me, 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 me. And we talk about that with our team too. And we were just talking about that. If you have team over me, you're going to usually win because, there's strength in numbers. And our guys understand that, being selfless. So I think being selfless and, myself and being selfless and Dunn and Bashif, Jones, like I said, I think, good things can happen.
And you guys also have, I think I had a tweet earlier this season. Your principle is that, I see principles always at championship game, but your principle's at every game, 4 hours early, shaking our hand. You got a great athletic director. You guys got pretty much, the whole level of support that you need there. I think that's a big picture of it too.
Can you speak to your, is that you or us? That's you.
I think that's you.
Can you speak to the admin situation at Lincoln, how favorable it is?
I think that's what make a lot of this stuff go is the admin. Miss Melissa, she's second to none. She's phenomenal. She loves her sports. She knows sports. She can sit down and talk sports with you. She has a phenomenal daughter who's really good at softball too. So you're going to be hearing her name up here pretty soon. And then Coach David Fye is the best athletic director in the country. The guy loves the kids, not just football kids, but all kids. He'll pay money for kids to be able to go to camps. He'll pay money for food for kids out of his own pocket. And what you really get from our admin is love and care. And when you can be, when you can love and care about other people more than yourself, good things always happen.
Both Melissa and David have been kinder to me than you have over the years.
Well, that's supposed to be.
That's their job. It's true because I remember being at Hoover, any school. You can't trick these kids. If you're fake, you're fake. They're gonna find it out real quick. You don't trick them.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people understand. They always ask well, what do you do, to make kids buy in so much? They know I care. They know Dunn cares. They know Bashif cares. They know Phi cares. They know Miss Melissa cares. And so whatever you're doing, you gotta love on the kids first and foremost. That's the biggest thing that you can ever do. If they know you care more than the sport, then they'll fight for you. So there's been plenty of times and I don't talk about it, but I try to take our kids out to eat. I try to have conversations with our kids about life outside of football. About who they are, what's going on in their life, being a protector, treating them like they're my own son. And I try to do it to every kid in the program. And I'm tough on them. I'm hard on them. And I want them to understand that life is hard. But if you can take it from Coach Carter, life is going to be pretty easy.
Yeah. I got a question I got to ask you. I probably got this might be an unpopular opinion. You tell me if it is. I think for you guys, the best thing that happened, and don't get me wrong because it wasn't serious, was Rod getting injured. Going to those games, I've seen KJ Chatham step up just the Madison game, the Carlsbad game, he was just dropping dimes that you don't see on Sundays sometimes. And then the last game, he's just really stepped up as a leader. And I can't say enough about that fourth quarter in Carlsbad, what he was doing. But do you guys see that a little bit maybe or no?
Yeah, we definitely see that. First off, Rod is an unbelievable talent and he's abnormal. You don't see people like him every single day. He's an unbelievable talent. When I was in the NFL, you would see very, very talented kids, but you didn't see guys built like Rod in the NFL, especially at that position. And so what he can do from a football standpoint and just from a workout standpoint, and then being a great teammate, that puts him in a league of his own. But you're right, Bert. What happened was our guys understand, we always talk about playing your piece to the puzzle. Some weeks your piece to the puzzle might be small. Sometimes it might be big. It might be the piece that completes the puzzle. But everybody has a piece that they have to play. And so what happens with that is that if you watched, you've seen Mekhi Gray step up. He's like a little lightning bug in a bottle. He's all over the place, can make plays with his legs. He's so explosive. He's fast. He's 10-7, track speed. You got Jaden Smith who plays, he's small in stature, but probably about 5'7.5", 5'8", but he plays like he's a giant. He's down the field blocking down the field. Blocking and throwing big blocks. And then you see KJ Chatham, he's the piece that makes everything go on offense because he's so calm and he's just the right fit for this offense. He doesn't need the credit. He won't take the credit if you try to give him credit. he would give, all of it to his teammates. And then you get Corey Thompson, who is, he's a big play every time you throw the ball to him, or even if you put it in his direction from a punt return or pickoff return, or even playing defense. He's just a big play waiting to happen. And then you have that offensive line who's been playing really good. We played about as horrible as we possibly could play in the Open Championship, but I think it's because everybody picked us to win. So our boys kind of got a little bit more relaxed. We'll give Carlsbad credit for playing hard the way they did, but that's been on us. We play the way we need to play. We would have been fine in that.
Well, can we just talk about that? Because to me, the biggest difference in Lincoln High, a couple things. Used to be everybody was transferring out of your neighborhood. Now everyone's transferring in. And then the second biggest difference to me is the caliber of offensive line and defensive line play. You're talking about you don't fear anybody. Well, you don't. Who are you going to fear in the county? I mean, you were bigger than Cathedral, frankly.
Yeah, for the first time ever, I don't fear anybody. And I'm, one thing I try to tell our boys is, look, there's no Superman. Everybody puts their pants on the same way you do, one leg at a time. So all we have to do is just go out there and be ourselves. And Bert said that earlier this year, and I appreciate you saying that, Bert, because that's the kind of way we feel too. We're not worried about nobody else. If we go out there and play the way we need to play, we're going to be fine. The thing is the offensive line and the trenches have got better for us. And I think when you build it and they see kids going to college and kids are stepping out of Lincoln High School and going to college and having success in their first and second and third year, why would you not want to come? Because now you know that we're developing kids where they can go into college and play and be college ready to play too. So, it's been a lot of hard days. Like I was just talking the other day, I think I've missed maybe 3 days in 5 years since being at Lincoln. Like if I'm in it, I'm in it. I'm not gonna miss. I'm not gonna make no excuses. And that's the same thing I try to tell our boys. We don't make excuses.
Well,
excuses get you beat.
You talk about the offense defense line being big. I don't think I've seen a bigger offense defense line in De La Salle in high school. They're pretty big. What do you see out of that team?
I mean, they're big. They're physical. They're very, very disciplined. I mean, storied program, traditionally great. Cathedral played them really tough and close this year. And, that defensive staff and that program in Cathedral does a good job every single year. And they're never out of any ball game, and they fight to the end, too. So, we feel like Cathedral should have beat De La Salle. They always give you everything they got. And they remind you a lot of Cathedral, But last week we faced Sierra Canyon, and they were huge on the offensive line. We played Bishop Alamany. They were huge on the offensive line. And I think they were actually bigger than De La Salle and Sierra Canyon. But our boys, we don't care nothing about size. If you got the ball, you're getting hit. And that's been the motto for us. If you got the ball or a different color jersey on, we're going to hit you. And we're going to have fun doing it. And, like when you have players like Josiah Cox, who has like no regard for his body, and Adrian Chargaloff, people don't give Adrian Chargaloff a lot either. We call him a shark because he's like, we always say, shark, you're in shark-infested waters, because he will tag you too and knock your top off.
Is that 42?
No, that's I was getting to him. That's Jerome Roberts Bennett, and he plays the same way those older guys play, and he has no regard for his body either. All those guys are playing reckless, but they're having fun, And then you have those two outside D ends and outside backers, and PV and Chris, and Fewell. Then Michael Valenzuela, he's the junkyard dog. He gets everything started. He's scrappy, plays with a lot of energy, and then you get Josh Carroll, who's really, really, savvy and understands what he's doing, and then you get the lockdown corner and Chris White, who's every corner, every receiver he's went against in San Diego and outside of San Diego, he's shut them down. I mean, and he don't get enough credit for that, but he's been really, really solid for our defense this year.
Well, I'll tell you what, having seen you play as much as I've seen you play now, all those players you mentioned, they all jump off at you, but that 42, boy,
he's special.
I don't know if I just caught him on a great couple series, but he jumped off.
You turn his tape on and you see like what he does. He just picked up San Diego State 2 weeks ago, right before Thanksgiving, and that one was really, really important for me to try to help him get that, was because him and my oldest son they went to language academy together. So I've been knowing Jerome since he was like third grade, like in elementary, and he would always like make these little, like these little songs when I came in the building. So it was really good to see he got that. But the way he plays, I mean, and when he's off the field, he's just as calm as they are. You wouldn't even know that was him.
I'd offer him, of all those guys. I mean, I'd want half your team. You know that, Jason. But I'd offer that kid right away. He's like Josiah. Just no regard for his body.
Yeah, they just play reckless, man. And they want to hit you. It's almost like a race to who's gonna get the hardest hit and who's gonna talk about it. I mean, like that's what they talk about. Because then you get the bigs in the middle too with Big Journey Tyler, who's 6'4", 340. I mean, he's so massive and huge. And then you get Eugene Rice and Rashad Scott. Those guys they do a great job, and that front seven is phenomenal.
So if you win this game against De La Salle, does that make you? Does that put you in the conversation of one of the greatest teams in San Diego history?
It's funny you say that. We talk about that. I tell you, there is talk that's rambling around and going on about it. I say, like, look, we're going to let the chips fall where it may. I think if you look at it at the end of the year, you'll probably end up having that entire defense to be offered at the end of the day. All the DBs are already offered. All the linebackers are offered. The DNs are offered. The only ones that's not offered are the sophomores that are playing, which they are going to be offered. So I think at the end of the day, you'll look back at it, and I think you'll be really surprised at how far we've come.
Yeah, Eugene's a sophomore, right?
Yeah, he's a sophomore. I mean, the offensive line and defensive line, those are sophomores except for Charlie and Logan. Then the rest of the guys are all sophomores. So, I mean, I think you can put them in the conversation with. I mean, Cathedral was so great last year, but I think when you look at it, we still got a lot of work to do, and we'll talk about that after the game. But we feel like we got a good chance.
Can I just? I'm hogging the conversation.
Let
me ask you, Jason, if you lose the game, are you not in that conversation then?
Kind of questions.
I don't think you can be. I don't know if you could be in a conversation and then not be in a conversation because you lose. Because it's the same thing. Like I would say with Cathedral Catholic team from last year be off in that category.
I don't know. To me,
because
it's an easier argument if you win the game.
Yeah, that's the plan. The plan is to go take care of business. But what I'm saying is, I look at Cathedral's last year's team as, I mean, like they were freaking good. I mean, and I think they lost 2 games last year, right? And so I don't think it takes you out of the conversation if it happens. I mean, I just look at how we dominated San Diego this year, and I think that puts you off in the conversation.
So give me a little, what's the name? We got any chance of San Diego State getting Josiah Cox?
I think they do. I mean, Josiah is a special player. Josiah has to go what's best for him, though. And that's the thing. I don't ever tell the guys where to go. I just tell them, let's look at how you fit into the program and where do you see yourself and the growth that you can make. And then where's your support system at? And so wherever you go, you're going to have a support system. It might just be a little bit closer. It might just be a little bit further away. So.
What about Keyshawn?
And our job doesn't stop just because you go to, let's say you go to Miami or you go to North Carolina. I think I talk to them guys more that they're going away because I want to make sure that they, head is on straight and they're doing the things they need to be doing.
So on that Miami talk, do we got San Diego State got it? I said we like I went to San Diego State. San Diego State got a shot at Keyshawn?
He'll be on a visit there this weekend, so,
Well, let me ask you a question, a follow-up on that. So, I mean, because you're more tapped into the kids than we are, does it make a difference to them if San Diego State goes to the Pac-12 or they stay in the Mountain West? I mean, if they go to the Pac-12, is that a bigger draw for Keyshawn maybe to come here or Josiah to come here?
Yeah, they go to that Pac-12, it makes it it's a different ball game. It'd be kind of equivalent to like, or just a little bit up under like what Deion did when he went to Colorado. Because when you go to the Pac-12, if UCLA and USC leaves, now who's recruiting Southern California like that? That makes San Diego State one of the top teams to recruit it. And so, you have to add on to that stadium. You have to put probably about 20,000 more seats on that stadium, about 30,000 more seats, because now they get to recruit all of Southern California, and now it's a popular place to play at. Now you're in the Pac too, and you don't have to leave your backyard to go play in the Pac.
Boy, I would have put those 25,000 seats on or at the first.
Start with?
Yeah, I would have. Yeah. I would have started there, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, I need some of that Pac-12 media money to do that.
Hey, is Josiah going to commit on KUSI? Or are you going to send him somewhere else?
No, he'll commit on KUSI.
All right.
We'll probably. I know Hunter Wiggins is getting ready to commit too, so that'll be another one. This will be a great class because, like, I'm so proud of it because like we could potentially have, 12 guys that sign.
I know.
D1 and then 3 signed to.
Well, that
Ivy
alone
League
makes
schools.
it.
So it could be a total. It could be a total of 15 kids out of this class.
That's incredible. That's absolutely
Yeah.
incredible.
So I never pay attention to all that stuff, but in the back of my head, I've just been kind of taking notes because this has been a special year from the standpoint of, like we'll have 15 kids signed to college. 3 could potentially be Ivy League schools with KJ Chatham, Charlie Hines, and Chris White going to Yale. So if we can get those 3 to Ivy League schools and the other signed D1, I'll be the happiest man on earth.
Well, it brings me to my question that when I came to campus a little while back and I saw on the whiteboard all the schools that have sent kids or sent recruiters to your campus, it's a virtual who's who of college schools. To me, the sense of pride that I would have if I was associated with your high school program with that, that everybody who was somebody that's come to your campus.
That's true. I mean, that was the one thing when Dunn was trying to get me to come over and coach with him, that was the one question I asked him. I said, how do you, like, what's your vision and how do you want to do this? Because me personally, I'm thinking like I have these huge goals and, high aspirations for what the program can be, but everything has to line up. You can't have one philosophy going against another philosophy. And our philosophies lined up. And like I said, he gave me the green light to be myself and do what I need to do to help get these guys right. And like I said, none of that happened without. I'm so proud of my little brother, Bashif Jones. Like, can't say enough about him because just seeing his growth from, where he's come from and what he's done since he's been to DC, but always being there with me in 7-on-7 too. So proud of him. But like I said, it doesn't happen without Dunn giving the green light. So one thing we want to do is just make Lincoln very, very popular because we've made it a national name too. And so like when colleges talk about kids, they talk about Lincoln. And I mean, if you're a kid, why would you not want to play for a school that can help you go to college and help you win and you have fun and do the things you need to do?
I got a 2-part question here. As magical and as cool as this year's been, are you disappointed because you still got that Texas A&M shirt up there? I would take that down and put it in the trash, first of all.
First off, look, hey, nothing that our magical year, we should have sent some of that light on Texas A&M. But, that's my school. I love it.
Second part.
School, I love it. And look, Jimbo got to get it together. I believe he will in the next few years. If not, I know Texas A&M has no problem paying money, getting a coach in there who will get it done. So,
second part of the question.
That's for sure.
So, I mean, you play Saturday night, and it's gone on, pretty long. I mean, since they've changed the CIF calendar. But how much longer before 7-on-7 starts after this week?
January.
January just for you or for everybody?
We play Friday night. For us, I have my tryouts January, middle of January, and then we'll hit the ground running in February, and we'll travel and play and go as much as possible. It's probably about May.
It's dream chasers, not catchers, right?
Yeah, I don't know why everybody say dream catchers.
I said it this morning. I said it this morning again. I corrected myself, though.
I have it right, Jason.
I didn't know what a dream catcher was until I moved here.
Paul. Hey, Bert, shame on you, man.
I'm sorry, man. I didn't know what a dream catcher was.
live on TV, Jason.
Yeah. No, I mean, we hit the ground running. That's one thing that we've kind of talked about, too, amongst our boys. Like, we've played since January. It's almost been a full year of playing.
Yeah.
And the boys have done good. But our offensive line, they've been doing the big man camps for about, since January. Ernesto Gonzalez has done a good job with that. He came in and, got the boys traveling. Daniel Smith, doing a good job of getting these boys coached up. But, just getting these boys out and getting them as many reps as we could possibly get them. People don't understand how good reps are. People talk about 7-on-7 this and 7-on-7 that. Look, it's about the reps. it ain't about winning at that point in time. It's about getting your guys quality reps that they're going to do during the season. And a lot of people don't understand that because people are, like they want to win so bad that they don't understand the big picture of those reps and what they can do for your squad if you get them.
You're over your time as always.
Can I permission to ask one more question, Jason?
Yeah, please do.
There's always, I know you've yelled at me for it. There's always a debate about the kids we put on the podium, and we've missed as much as we've been right. And I stand before you and say we do the best we can. But there's no doubt the right athlete won the Silver Pigskin in 2022, is there?
There was no doubt about it. And there was no doubt about the Defensive Player of the Year or the Offensive Player of the Year. And we give credit to all those other kids who came out and played hard. But they knew who. I think if you asked them who was the Silver Pigskin winner, they definitely would all tell you. And it don't take much to see why you gave it to Rod, because if you look at what he did, versus Mater Dei, he went for 500 yards versus them. If you look at what he did versus when that was deemed the biggest game of the year, and it wasn't, he went for 500 and had a touchdown call back. Then you look at when they said Cathedral was the game of the year, he went for 225 versus them in a big game when he's gonna get the rock. Versus Madison, it was deemed, and on a bad leg, one leg basically, he went for over 100 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So, every time there's a big game, and then you see what he did this past weekend, which I think he shocked everybody looking back like Rod from early in the year. And when he's playing like that, it inspires our kids. It inspires them to play harder. The defense plays a little bit harder. And, man, those wide receivers, I think, there was also a debate about who had the best wide receivers in the county. But when you talk about wide receivers, I played that position. Wide receivers is just not about catching footballs. It's about how do you affect the game without the ball in your hand. And if you watch, like I said, Corey Thompson is getting pancake blocks. Raylon Logan is out there putting guys out the game. If you watch the Carlsbad game, he got 2 of them. He put 2 Carlsbad players out of the game by his physical blocking. And Makai Gray and Jaden Smith and DJ Peavy, those guys are blocking down the field like they have the ball, and like you can see the love that they have for their teammates. So it's just awesome to see that. And so, in my opinion, I think we have the best wide receiving core too. Just to put that on there.
Yeah, and you could. I mean, you talked about best team in San Diego. I mean, arguably it wouldn't have been a good show, but you could have won. Corey Thompson could have won. Coach Dunn could have won Coach of the Year. Josiah wins one.
I just want to correct Jason on one scorecard. We didn't put. We selected nominees, but you, the coaches, all have the votes. So he was picked by predominantly the high school coaches in San Diego section. So I just want to, we have some votes. People work on the show, but not as many as there are coaches. So you have the respect of the coaches.
If a kid is nominated, they should be happy in the fact that it's nominated. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these awards are for parents, basically, in my opinion. Like, the biggest award you can get is your teammates saying, man, I respect you. And I think, Bert, you know this too, is the biggest compliment you get is, man, that kid is a football player. Mm-hmm. Not just, oh, that kid's a great running back. No, he's a football player. That's the biggest compliment I think you can receive, because it speaks so much about who you are and what you do for your team. So, now Corey Thompson is a big play waiting to happen. I thought he could have easily. I think you guys do need to make an award, not just 2-way player of the year. I think you need to make a 3-way player of the year award, because he definitely could have been up for that one because of what he did on punt return, winning the special teams, offense and defense. I mean, I think every game he catches it.
We heard about it. but it wasn't like, it's not like Chris Williams.
No.
I mean, he's a 3-way player. He actually kicks the ball. He's a 4-way player.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like you won't hear no complaints about me. Now we was ready to storm the stage if Rod didn't get it. We was gonna come get you, Paul.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I had my car warmed up in the parking lot, because if there was a wrong name on that, I was heading for the parking lot.
But here's the other problem. We do have, like you said, it's coaches that vote for it. Are coaches going to look down their ballot and check Lincoln for every single box? And whether it's deserving, Corey's deserving. Coach Dunn's deserving Coach of the Year. But is coaches on different schools going to check every single box Lincoln?
Well, there is some regional voting going on. Folks in the South Bay are going to be partial to South Bay teams. Folks in North County are going to be partial to North County teams. So there's some. I mean, that goes on in the Heisman for Pete's sake.
Yeah, I mean, I think like we understand like Lincoln's not a popular pick, by the way, too. Like, let's make sure we clear on that. What I'm saying is, they picked our guys, and our guys were nominated. You guys nominated our guys. We are, like I told our guys, we are extremely happy about our guys being nominated. It's an honor to be nominated. That's first and foremost. Now, all the, being spoiled and thinking you should get it just because you nominated, miss me with that. I don't want to hear none of that. Like, and I tell our guys too, if we wanted to, you could have put DJ Peavy up for 18 sacks for Defensive Player of the Year. We could have made complaints about that. Chris Bewell and those guys, they did a great job. We're not going to complain about like getting an award. Like, only one we would have really kind of like stormed the stage on was because we felt like we had the best player and we still feel like he's the best running back in the country as Roger. And JoJo did what we told him to do. We said, if you want an award, if you want something, go take it. And both those guys went and took it from start to finish of the year. If you watch their film, turn their film on, and in every game they showed up.
I forgot Charlie Hines. He was on Iron Hog too.
Yeah.
Charlie Hines he's been the heartbeat of our offensive line, playing starting at center, then going to guard, moving to tackle, starting at tackle, starting at guard. He's been phenomenal. Like, and he didn't win it.
I take umbrage with your thought that Lincoln is not a popular choice, because I think the best example of how popular Lincoln is the fact that Josiah won the fan vote and got onto the podium. That doesn't happen unless people respect the school and respect the people associated with it.
I think he means other coaches.
Or do you respect his play too? I think
absolutely. That goes without saying.
I think sometimes like I think you can. We always tell our guys this is like, you can hope for it, you can wish for it, or you can go take it. Which one you want to do? Which one is the safe bet? Go take it. Like, if you want something, go take it. Don't wait for somebody to give something to you. Go take it from them. And if you want, and I think that's the mindset we kind of went with this year. We were just gonna go take everybody's respect. I mean, we got beat last year. We should have. Since 2018, we've been in the championship game 4 years, minus the COVID. We got two out of four, and we should have had 4. We didn't take it when we lost to Oceanside. We didn't take it. We didn't finish the game versus Helix. Give Helix credit. They did a good job of kept on fighting. We didn't finish it. We got the big head, and we didn't play for one another. This time around, the kids were down. The kids were down with 6 minutes left to go, and they went and took it, and they finished and did what they needed to do. So, I mean, we didn't hope for it. We had to go take it. And look, we understand like we have work to do, and there's a lot of stuff we still got to fix. But now, when you talk about football in San Diego, you got to put Lincoln in that category. You have to put them in that category now, and that's because we took it. And we'll see what happens Friday. I'm extremely excited about Friday night at 8 p.m. Our boys are excited. We got a lot of bulletin board material. I mean, I think people will start giving us bulletin board material. Thanks, Carl's bad. And Bert, that was for you.
I got to be honest with you. I go back to my day where there was always horse trading going on. I guess I'm not as wrapped up in that as much as you guys are, but I do know this. I'm rooting for you to take it Friday night, and I'm trying to get it televised here. The CIF reached out to us about maybe having subcontracting the game on KUSI. I don't know if we can swing it in time, but we're trying to get.
Man, that'd be awesome. You guys do such a good job, and man, like, people will complain about any and everything if you give them a chance to, but the one thing that you guys did was you gave people who don't get out to get to see a game a chance to watch some of the top teams in San Diego play. And so for that right there, you guys should be recognized. And, people just need to shut up with all the complaining. Like, just be thankful.
Geez, Jason, I think we have to end the conversation right there. That's about the warmest thing you've ever said to me for 10 years. And let's end on a high note.
Yeah.
Jason Carter.
Thank you guys again.
Thank you. Obviously, I'll be in touch with you. Oh, all right. Turn off the machines.